Hey, it's Larry O'Connor, and we're here with Ronnie and Jonathan Mervis to talk about lab-grown diamonds. They absolutely are the real thing. First of all, let's start with that, the idea of a lab-grown diamond versus, naturally grown diamond.
Most diamonds are made in nature, and they take about 1 billion years to make. It took all of this time to lay around in the ground, deep down, and under huge pressure, temperature, time. The carbon gas crystallized and formed into a natural diamond. And then the mining process is to release that from the rock. And once you release the diamond and you have a rough pebble, then the cutting and polishing process is what makes it so brilliant and beautiful and desirable. However, the process which took 1 billion years in nature can now be emulated in a laboratory. And
Amazing.
We have the ability to produce lab-grown diamonds in 6 weeks for what used to take 1 billion years.
Now, the fact that it takes 1 billion years, and it's such an incredible accident of nature almost that produces that vibrant diamond, that's what makes it so valuable, though, right? That's what makes it so rare.
Right. So the slogan, of course, everyone knows is a diamond is forever. So, the specialness of it is that it's been around forever and it will be around forever, like your love is eternal. So, it's up to us as a society to decide, well, lab-grown diamonds, they don't have 1 billion years going backwards, but they still have 1 billion years going forward.
So fundamentally, there is truly no real difference between a lab-grown diamond and really fast. What's the best way for me to...
So we're talking about that now is what do you call, once you start talking about the parlance of lab-grown, what do you just call diamond? If you just say diamond. So still, when we just say diamond in the office, diamond means natural diamond. And I think it's important that any listeners know that everything is very, very clearly marked in our office. We have different storage areas for anything lab-grown versus anything natural. And certainly the last thing we would ever want, and we go to big extent to make sure it doesn't happen, is any mix-up.
Yeah.
So we fully disclosed any lab-grown diamonds, and they all are laser inscribed as lab-grown. It actually says lab-grown in Maryland.
But to the fundamental issue here, what is the real difference?
Chemically, optically, there is no difference. The consumer will not be able to tell the difference between a lab-grown, naturally mined diamond and a lab-grown diamond. Specific circumstances and with the right equipment, an expert can tell the difference, but the consumer cannot.
So I think the important thing is here, because I think when someone first hears the idea of a lab-grown diamond, they're instinctively going to say, oh, it's fake.
Right.
It's a fake diamond, but these are diamonds.
It's not a fake diamond because it has all the chemical properties of a natural diamond.
Well, and I'm looking at it right now.
And
it is
we just showed you
incredible.
One. They are beautiful.
It's so vibrant. It's sparkling, and this is just in a dingy, dark little radio studio.
Right. So what's really interesting about lab-growns is that when people hear about it, they're a little bit intrigued, and they're like, well, it doesn't sound right to me. They think sometimes it just doesn't feel right. But the tipping point comes once they see it. And so that's what we just ask people. Come in and compare it with your own eyes. Look at a lab-grown, look at a natural, side by side, and then you can make the decision. And so the last thing about that is that we found that guys will not buy a lab-grown diamond unless they get the okay from the lady.
Yes, this I believe. It's funny, Jonathan, I was just thinking that. It's like, I wonder if Meredith will go for this, and I've got to get her permission. There's no possible way I can make this call myself.
Absolutely. And especially if you were, first time getting engaged and, the family's going to think, well, what are they going to think? What are the friends going to think? But if you bring her into the picture and let her see, well, this is what we can get with the money that we have, or we can go 30% bigger, let her choose.
And generally, that's sort of how the ratio works here in terms of the value of a diamond versus a lab-grown diamond.
Yes, and the bigger the diamond, the greater the additional size is. As you go into 2 carats and 3 carats and 4 carats, you get that much more for the same money. So I want to make a point. I just want to tell you. Our company is nearly 100 years old. It was started overseas by my father when he was a young man, and we've been doing this for almost 100 years. And in all of this time, we have been dealing with natural mined diamonds. This is something new. So we're not going away from what we've been doing for 100 years. We still firmly believe in the natural diamond. But this is an alternate flavor. It's a new thing. The world has changed. Digital world has changed. Social world has changed. Social media world has changed. Ecology has changed. Valuing the earth has changed. So it's a new thing, and people are asking for it. And so as long as a consumer knows about this and is asking for it, we are saying, sure, we have it, and we'd like to show it to you.
Listen, Mervis Diamond, that brand, your family, what that name stands for, it represents so much to people. It obviously represents knowledge and legacy and the understanding of diamonds better than anyone else here, probably anyone else in the country. but it also stands for quality. And I've got to think not every lab-grown diamond is alike. Tell me specifically about your lab-grown diamonds.
Absolutely correct. The process to create a lab-grown diamond, you start with the diamond seed. It's a very high color, very high purity, natural slice of a natural diamond. You put that in a lab, and through a lot of expensive hocus pocus, the scientists grow that upwards, atom by atom, in a cauldron of sorts, where they're adding the right gases, and through the process they create the diamond.
Wow.
But it starts as a sheet and moves upwards, and towards the end of the process, ultimately you end up with what looks like a sugar cube. It is just a cube of diamond. Now, from that point onwards, the process of cutting it and polishing it is pretty much the same, whether it had been natural or man-made.
And that's where the artistry comes in. That's where the knowledge base.
Absolutely. And so with that premise, easily you can have a lab-grown that's poorly cut and doesn't sparkle, or you can have a lab-grown that's gorgeous and it's got a lot of life and brilliance. So absolutely, when we look at the lab-grown diamonds and select the ones that we want to show in our store, we look for the best, and that's what we show you.
You have taught me about the various different types of diamond, the colors that you can get with a diamond, the kind of sparkle you can get from all of those things. Is that the same with a lab-grown diamond?
Absolutely.
Are there yellow versions and all of that?
Yeah, they come in different colors. They come in different clarities, different sizes. And like anything else in the world, not every one is beautiful, but we are very discerning. We look at the rough diamonds, and we decide which ones we are going to accept and which ones we are not. And then further, after they're cut and polished, we look at each one of them to examine the brilliance, the scintillation, the dispersion, the excitement, how much magic is coming back to your eye out of that diamond. And the ones that make the cut, we will be proud to call a Mervis diamond. And the ones that don't, we reject. We won't offer them.
Are you offering Mervis lab-grown diamonds in all kinds of settings? They're good earrings, necklaces, bracelets.
Absolutely. So you can opt for a lab-grown diamond for any piece of jewelry. Most of what we're doing is engagement rings. We're known for engagement rings, but we're doing a lot of upgrades as well. It just happened last weekend. We did a lab-grown open house, and the idea was just to invite people in who are curious to see. No pressure to buy. The guy came in because he wanted to upgrade his wife's ring. Originally, it was a 1 carat, and he thought maybe he'll put in some extra money and make it a 1.5, maybe 2. He'd never heard of lab-grown, but once we showed him all the options, he said, well, let's go for the 3. So he got a 3 carat lab-grown. So we're seeing that as well. Something else that listeners should know is that all of our lab-grown diamonds come with a third-party certificate that says exactly what it is. It's a third-party validation that, they know what they have.
This is what I love about you guys at Mervis.
Thank you. We love you too.
I love the fact that you don't approach this as selling diamonds. You don't sell diamonds. You sell an experience. You sell the entire process, and you understand, it's guys who are buying these things, and we don't know what we're doing, and we're freaked out, and it's usually a critically important moment in our life when we're making this incredible purchase. Mm-hmm. So what's your advice if he's interested in the lab-grown diamonds, if he's interested in this as an option? Mm-hmm. You said you got to get her permission, right? Sure. What should he do? Should he let you guys know ahead of time, listen, I'm bringing her down. Can you just sort of maybe, don't make it my idea, have it be your idea?
Yeah, actually, that's a really great idea. I would say the first thing is come in. Come in just to look at what we have. If you want to let us know in advance you're coming and set an appointment, that's very helpful. Because then if you tell us you're looking in a particular shape, we can bring in extra inventory of that.
Oh, that's cool.
By all means, we can be the one to introduce this option because our salespeople don't bring it up in every conversation. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people that are not interested in lab created. To them, it's like a fake Louis Vuitton bag. They don't want to touch it. So as we said earlier...
But it really isn't. I mean, let's be clear here. This is a diamond. This is a lab-grown diamond, and I'm looking at them side by side here, and they're amazing. They're incredible.
I want to give you an example. Let's talk about a block of ice. Ice can form in nature because water under the right conditions, cold, will turn into ice. So if you have water in a pond and if it's freezing outside, that water will become ice. You can also create ice in your refrigerator. You put water into the deep freeze, into the freezer, and make it cold enough, and that water will also turn into ice. Well, what is the difference between ice made in a refrigerator and ice made outside? Actually, no difference, except they have a different source of cold. So with the lab-grown diamonds, they are exactly the same, except they are made in a controlled environment, in a situation where you get a diamond seed, as referred to by Jonathan. It's put in a vacuum chamber, all the air is extracted, and instead of that air, we introduce methane and hydrogen, and through the chemical vapor deposition process, that diamond grows and it becomes a bigger diamond. but it displays all of the optical and physical characteristics of a real diamond. So in answer to your question, what is the difference? There is none.
Yeah.
However, it is much larger for the same money. And a term I thought of while I was waiting for you was, and I like this one, so I'm going to come up with it, more show, less dough.
More show, less dough. I like that a lot.
More show, less dough. So
sounds like my program.
So let's go.
You talked about the fact that these are lab grown in Maryland. I think that's fascinating. This is a local industry.
We're sitting in Washington, D.C. right now, but we're just a couple of 100 yards from the D.C. border. Mm-hmm. But these are grown in Maryland, so it's a locally grown product.
And, of course, you offer them in all of your locations.
We offer them in Maryland. We offer them in Virginia. We offer them in D.C. So we offer them and online.
But it's a great point, because I would go to your Rockville location, but maybe you don't have as much inventory there. Phone ahead.
Yes.
But that's for anything, really, not just the lab-grown diamonds, for all of your inventory. You guys are so accommodating that way. If you know you're going in, make a phone call.
It's only to the client's advantage that we can prepare and bring in extra inventory for you.
Well, the underlying emotion behind most engagement rings is love. And there's some people who feel that their love cannot be properly expressed with a lab-grown diamond. So for those people, we say, all right, whatever you want. It's another flavor. We have lab-grown, or we also call them value-engineered or man-made or whatever name it is. But if that isn't for you, then we go with a natural mined diamond. However, for the gift ideas, which are not really an engagement ring, it's a pair of diamond earrings, a diamond pendant. The love quotient isn't as important, and there most female recipients would rather have size. So that makes a perfect alternative.
And certainly for an anniversary, too.
Certainly
Because, she's over the years, she's been looking at it saying, he's doing better these days than back when we were poor and hungry, and he asked me to marry him. Maybe it's time to step up.
And you got to outbling your neighbors, so...
Especially in this town. Well, and that's an interesting thing, because, I know when I proposed to Meredith, I wanted it to be a surprise. Mm-hmm. But I also wasn't an idiot. I found out ahead of time. We went shopping. We were looking, and that's fun. That's, when you're falling in love and you're going to get engaged. Yeah. So it's important to do that shopping, but the surprise factor, how you actually finally, the dude makes that decision, it's important. So, you got to take all that information down when you're at the store and find out how she's reacting to.
Well, she's always involved in the decision, and then she doesn't want to know about it, and then she's totally surprised when it arrives. She's been leaving notes under his pillow every night.
Exactly.
But then she's totally surprised. Oh, my word, I didn't know you were doing this sort of thing.
Exactly.
So we've experienced that before.
They're great that way, though, aren't they? She really did make me feel like I was a genius.
And by the way, we want to meet Meredith because we feel that she needs one.
I've been trying to keep her from coming in there, actually, until I get a bonus.
We got a surprise
here.
for you. She's coming.
We just moved to the Pike and Rose neighborhood.
Oh, you did?
Nice.
So we're right up 2 blocks away
We'll come
from
in
you
and
now.
check it out.
I know, we need to.
One question that I'm not sure we answered or how we want to say it best is a lot of the diamond industry sees lab grown as heresy. And anything in life, I suppose, there's going to be some portion of people that see anything new and different as heresy, as wrong, absurd, upside down, opposite. They don't like it. But the way we see it, and the way I see it, is that we are here as your diamond experts to show you all the options. So if you come in and you want to see a round diamond, we have it. You want to see an oval diamond, we have it. You want to see lab grown, we have it. So we will show you all the options. You can decide for yourself what's best for you. That's our position.
Let's talk about that aspect of it, though. This sort of is there a stigma on lab-grown diamonds? Is there a certain community that thinks, like you said, it's heresy?
Absolutely. I mean, the diamond industry, as far as industries goes, is pretty old school. A lot of it is father and son, like ourselves. But it's a trade like that where people mentor and protege, and a lot of the community basically they're diamond purists, and to many people, they don't want to touch this, not with a 10-foot pole. So I had a situation over the weekend where I was talking to a client. He had been to like 10 other stores looking for some lab-grown diamonds. He said that the second you say lab-grown, the look on the salesperson's face changes. And he said he just immediately felt like they were looking down at him. They were sort of snubbing their nose at him. And he said it just immediately put him off. And even if they sort of said, oh, we'll get you one, we don't really do it, but we'll get you one, immediately he felt like an inferior customer, like he wasn't worth their time. So that he commented that he really appreciated that when he came into our store, no less the lab-grown open house that we were doing, that we welcomed him and said, great, wonderful.
Well, let's be real here. Somebody has a budget. They know what they're, what they're able to spend or what they want to spend on a piece of important investment like jewelry. You can show them an alternative within their budget that's 30% bigger. That's huge.
It is.
Literally.
There are many people who have vested interests in what they're doing, and the same number of people are resistant to change. Not everybody welcomes change. And so it takes time for them to get used to it. On the other hand, change is part of our organization. Change is part of what you do. You have to change. You have to evolve. We're very proud to be at the forefront of this movement, and we predict that as time goes by, more and more people will jump on the bandwagon and say it's a good thing. From the consumer's point of view, in answer to your question, is there any stigma? No. People love them. They look good. They're bigger. They feel very proud. And they save some money.
Well, let's face it. I've been in a social setting before when a woman has a beautiful, huge diamond ring, and somebody will say, "Is that real?"
Right.
And here, if someone has a lab-grown diamond, they can safely and completely truthfully say, "Yes, it is real. You betcha, this is a diamond. Check it out."
As the saying goes, it really, really is. Seeing is believing. Once you see this, you get it. Before you see it, there's a little bit of a, I don't know, it doesn't sound right to me. Feel. So we just invite people, come in, see it, compare for yourself.
I used the word investment before, and we've spoken before about the fact you guys are so great about, when someone wants to upgrade and you evaluate value of the diamond that they previously purchased from you over the years. What about the long-term value of a lab-grown diamond versus a diamond?
So there is a line of thinking that, they're lab-grown. Well, tomorrow someone's just going to flood the market with these things because they're made in a machine.
Right. So with that much supply,
then they'll be worth nothing tomorrow. Well, I dare you to try it. It's a very, very, very expensive and difficult proposition to make these diamonds, and certainly companies are ramping up their production, but it doesn't look like in the near future or even in the medium future that the supply will be dramatically increased. But what we are seeing is that the demand is increasing rapidly. So even if supply does increase rapidly, as long as demand is increasing rapidly, we're okay.
So they're going to hold on to
the market will be stable. Yeah. There are some stabilizing forces as well that nobody wants to see the market sort of totally flooded. So the company that we're working with, who's producing these diamonds for us, they hold dozens of international patents on these processes. So you in your backyard, even if you had the hundreds of millions of dollars to invest in R&D, or to knock them off and build the machinery, they hold the trademarks and patents.
Oh, that's a great point. So, we're not going to be seeing people selling lab-grown diamonds on an infomercial overnight anytime soon. No. These are very rare commodities.
And, just to repeat what Jonathan had said, the investment in machinery, in labs, etc., is huge. And then the science that goes into it is amazing. And you can't just switch on a machine and say, let's produce a diamond. You need a whole array of scientists, the guys who are really into this. And to emulate it is a very hard thing to do. So we are not concerned that there will be a flood of people in the industry producing diamonds because they just don't have the ability.
So for anyone listening who's interested to learn more, if you go to our website, mervisdiamond.com, and just search in the top search bar, lab-grown diamonds, or even if you just hover over diamonds, and you'll get the option for lab-grown. I'm adding more and more information there because people are just sort of consuming it rapidly, videos and FAQs and stuff like that. And you can actually search our inventory of lab-grown diamonds. So certainly it's there, and we welcome you to come learn more.
I love it. You guys have been in this business for over 100 years, and you're still on the cutting edge.
Really, and still here.
And still here. Well, you're not going anywhere. For God's sake. You're Mervis. You're Ron Mervis for crying out loud.
Mervis is forever. You've heard of a diamond is forever? Mervis is forever. We keep on bringing in the next generation.
If somebody has a specific request, because this is lab grown, we can make that for them if they have the patience. So if you said, actually, I want this bizarre shape that I just came up with. It's not a traditional diamond shape. And I want it to be a J color and SI1 purity. We'll make it for you.
Oh,
no problem.
Sure, because you start with the cube and then you go from there.
Exactly. So we're going to produce the diamond in the lab. It's going to turn out to be a diamond cube, and then we can cut it into anything. If you want a bicycle-shaped diamond, we can make it for you.
Now, talk about a unique and customized gift. So you really want to give her something special that literally no one else on the planet has. You can have your own custom-cut diamond.
And we can, if you want to inscribe it in any way, we can laser inscribe it. That, of course, it's not visible to the naked eye, but anyone with a microscope could see your anniversary date or whatever you want to write on it.
I read that there is a specific laser inscribed inscription that identifies these diamonds as lab-grown diamonds. Mm-hmm. If that weren't there, would you know the difference? You're experts. You know this. You'd be able to tell.
With sophisticated equipment, we could tell. Without sophisticated equipment, just a casual look, you could not tell. You would miss it.
And is that why you have to have, for the integrity of the industry, you put the...
You need to test. I mean, just like if somebody brings us, a wad of $100 bills, we have a tester to make sure that these are real. So with as much money as at stake as there is with a diamond, we should be 100% sure that something is lab-grown or something is natural. And those testers will become more and more pervasive.
But every diamond is accompanied by an invoice which will specify lab-grown and by a report from an independent laboratory where we specify, again, what its source is, that it's lab-grown, etc. So anytime a diamond comes back, anytime we deal with it, anytime a consumer gets it, it's there in writing that it is lab-grown. It is fully disclosed every time.
For some people, there is some controversy over the provenance of diamonds and the various political reasons or whatever. This is something that sort of skirts around that.
Absolutely. So people have reached the idea of lab-grown diamonds from different angles. So one way is because they want nothing to do with the traditional supply chain of diamonds. They're worried about the blood diamond concept and what happened. So first of all, I will say about the blood diamond era that there were some not so good times in the industry. A lot of that happened in Northwest Africa. That's like Sierra Leone and Cote d'Ivoire and these areas. First of all, it's a historical period that happened, and that's over. Our diamonds mostly come from South Africa, so thousands and thousands of miles away. But there are consumers that just want nothing to do with that, so lab-grown is an option.
You know that movie Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio came out, 12 years ago or so, and it did freak a certain number of people out. The reality is that less than 1% of the world's diamonds came from those regions anyhow. You can never stamp anything out completely, but they were about 1%. Our diamonds don't come from that area. That's what Jonathan just said. Mm-hmm. Our diamonds come chiefly from South Africa. They also come from Namibia and Botswana. And those are clean, legitimate sources, so they don't apply to our diamonds at Mervis. But nevertheless, there are people who have that concept in mind. So for them, the answer is, okay, well, then get one produced in a laboratory in Maryland. If that's what makes you happy, we're happy that you're happy.
That's a diamond even Leo DiCaprio would love.
You know what? We should call him and say,
exactly. Hey, open invitation, Leo.
Come on, Leo. We've got some great diamonds
we'll hang out. We'll go get some pizza.
Why not?
Why not? There are a lot of diamonds out there around the world, whether they're lab-grown or whether they're mined. But, for you to put the name Mervis on them, we know that it has passed a certain standard. It is a cut above, if I may say. So what about lab-grown diamonds? Is it the same idea?
Beautiful pun, a cut above. Not every diamond that is formed either in nature or in a lab is beautiful. There are always some which don't quite make the cut. In order to qualify as a Mervis lab-grown diamond or as a Mervis diamond, it has to be beautiful. The rough material has to be magnificent. It's got to be cut to ideal specifications. It's got to really be a knockout diamond in order to be a Mervis lab-grown diamond. Not every diamond meets that standard, and if it doesn't meet our standard, we don't show it. It's just not available.
So it's not just a lab-grown diamond.
It's not just a lab-grown. It's a Mervis-approved lab-grown diamond grown for us. We work with the labs, and they produce the diamonds, and they produce them to our standards. So if it's a Mervis lab-grown, the seal of approval is there. It's a beautiful diamond, hand-selected by us, approved by Zed Mervis, my brother, who is an international specialist. He is well known as a connoisseur. He knows exactly which ones make the cut. And if it's approved by Zed, and he always says his standard is, if it's good enough for his wife, it's good enough for you. If it wouldn't make his standard to get into his home on his wife's finger, we're not even showing it to you.
Mervis Diamond Importers, all you need to know to find the perfect diamond for him or her. Diamond for him or her.